For leaders to improve the performance of their employees or their teams, they need to understand that there's four essential ingredients that are required to yield the best results. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to effectively leverage your team's performance to ensure that these four elements are always present. See, it's important that if you do not have these four elements in place, you're not going to get the results that you want. You're not going to become a game-changing leader. You're not going to have the impact that you know that you possibly can have. I call this the leveraging performance model. For teams and people to live up to and perform to their potential, they need the following in place. They need ability, they need motivation, resources, and direction. These are critical to leveraging performance. If one is missing, your intended results will go off track. See, we'll start with ability. Without ability, anxiety exists. Team members are going to be worried, they're going to be fearful, they're going to be frustrated, they're going to be hesitant with doing their job. There's a good chance that some are going to remain quiet. Some are going to struggle in place, in silence. They're going to be afraid of what others think, and they're not going to ask for help. So to strengthen one's ability, your role as a leader is to help coach and train. Make it your mission to foster an environment where your team can be successful and develop genuine confidence over time as they master their skills and ability. The next one I want to talk about is motivation. Because when team members lack motivation, one thing is guaranteed. They're going to do the bare minimum. Because what's the incentive for doing a good job? Without motivation, I can tell you, there isn't. The hardest part of leading is motivating people to honestly sometimes do their jobs. Yes, look, this might be a shocker, but some people just don't want to do the jobs that they're hired for. It's because they lack motivation. They won't put in the effort. To motivate the team effectively, we have to figure out what motivates them. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, because everyone's driven by different tactics, different motivational techniques, or different just motivations in general. You need to figure out who they are, what gets them amped up to do their job, why they're there, why do they work with you, and what do they need in order to give consistent effort. So the third one that we need to talk about is resources, because when you don't have adequate resources, you're going to be frustrated. Now, resources mean something different to every single person, but that might mean access to the right tool, technology, maybe updated processes and support. Maybe it's having enough people to collectively do the job. Whenever people feel like there's not enough resources, or they're limited in some way, they're stressed, they're going to feel bitter, and they're going to be frustrated. As a leader, you need to know what resources are required and proactively make sure you're getting them for your team. So solicit feedback from your team through one-on-ones, focus groups. We talked about start, stop, continue sessions. Be the type of leader who knows what it's like to be in the trenches and anticipate what kind of resources they're going to need, what kind of people, processes, tools to make sure that you can avoid people getting frustrated. Direction is critical as well. Without direction, people are going to misfire. They're going to go down the wrong path. They're not going to do what you expected them or thought they were going to do. You're accountable for providing direction for your team, detailing what's essential. More importantly, what they need to do. A big part of providing direction is assessing priorities and communicating to those to keep them on track. I've seen teams that are incredibly talented led astray because they didn't have the right direction or plan. Do yourself a favor and ensure that your team knows the plan and what's ultimately important. When you have all four of these elements in place, ability, motivation, resources, and direction, you can successfully leverage performance of teams or individuals. But if one item is missing, you're going to suffer the consequences. A big part of the puzzle is getting the most out of your team and communicating with them regularly while being transparent. So if you can focus on having these four elements in place, and when you don't have them, communicate what do we need to do to fill this gap, you'll be more successful and become more on the road to becoming a game changer.